In this video, you will learn how to solve a quadratic function. This is the general shape of a quadratic function, ax squared minus bx plus c is equal to 0. Always keep in mind a, b, c. This is important, we will use it now. There are several ways to solve this type of equations. In this video, we'll discuss quadratic formula. We'll use this formula and factoring. Okay, this is the shape we will get in when we factor this type of equation. We will get x minus r1, x minus r2 is equal to 0. Then we will find that we have two solutions, right? So x1 is equal to r1 and x2 is equal to r2. Those are the two roots of this equation. Coming to quadratic formula, we will use this formula. This formula can be used to find the roots of any quadratic equation, regardless of whether it can be factored. Sometimes you will see that you cannot factor this type of equations. So this formula is the best to find the solution for this type of equation. Okay? So coming to the quadratic formula, here we have always delta is equal to b squared minus 4 multiplied by a and c. Always you have three cases after finding delta. First case is delta is bigger than 0. So after applying this formula, if you get delta is bigger than 0, you will have two solutions. You will apply x is equal to minus b minus the square root of delta over 2 multiplied by a, and x2 is equal to minus b plus the square root of delta over 2 multiplied by a. Otherwise, if delta is smaller than 0, meaning it is negative, you will just directly say no real solutions and you stop there. Finally, if delta is equal to 0, this means you have only one solution and you just apply this formula. You say x is equal to minus b over 2 multiplied by a. Okay? Let's see our first example. Solve the quadratic function using quadratic formula. So here it says explicitly use the quadratic formula to solve this equation. Okay? So before starting, we have to define our coefficients. A is equal to 1, which is here. Okay? So you think in this way. Ax squared minus bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay? So this is our c, this is b, this is a. Okay? So a is equal to 1. B is equal to minus 6, C is equal to 5. Okay? Now we start with our formula. First step is to calculate the discriminant delta. Delta is equal to b squared minus 4 multiplied by a and c, this formula here. Okay? Delta is equal to, we replace instead of b now by minus 6, which we have it here. Minus 6 squared minus 4, we don't touch it, multiplied by a is 1, okay, c is 5, okay. Now minus 6 squared is 36, minus 4 multiplied by 1 is minus 4, minus 4 multiplied by 5 is 20, so 36 minus 20 is 16. So since delta is 16, so this means that delta is bigger than 0, right? And we are in this case, first case here. We continue with proceeding. So here we apply quadratic formula. So x is equal to minus b minus the square root of delta over 2 multiplied by a. Okay? So x is equal to, what is, first we take the minus of the formula, we don't touch it, which is here, okay? B is here, okay? Minus 6, so minus 6 minus the square root of delta, which is the square root of 16, which we got from here, okay, over 2 multiplied by a. 2 multiplied by a is 1, so we put 1, okay. Now minus multiplied by minus 6, we get 6, okay. Minus multiplied by minus is always positive. Then minus, what is the square root of 16? It is 4, right? Over 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. So 6 minus 4 is 2, 2 over 2 is 1, okay? Continuing with x2 is equal to minus b, so we take the minus, we don't touch it. This is from the formula. Then b, again, it is minus 6, so we take minus 6 plus the square root of delta, over 2 multiplied by a. 2 multiplied by a, 2 multiplied by 1 here, okay? Is equal to, now minus multiplied by minus is positive, so you get only 6 here. Then plus the square root of 16 is 4 over 2, okay? And this is equal to 5, because 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 over 2 is 5. So finally, as a conclusion, we have the two roots. The two roots of our solution are x1 is equal to 1 and x2 is equal to 5, okay, which are here, okay. Let's see our second example. Solve the quadratic function using quadratic formula. So also here it says explicitly use quadratic formula. So before starting, as we said, we define our coefficients. A is equal to 7 here, b is equal to minus 3, c is equal to 10, okay. So now first step is to do, we calculate the discriminant delta. Delta is equal to b squared minus 4 multiplied by a and c, okay. Again, it is the same formula here. Now delta is equal to b is minus 3, so minus 3 square, minus 4, we don't touch it. Then a is equal to 7, c is equal to 10, okay. If you calculate this expression, you will get minus 271, okay. So since delta is smaller than 0, this means we are in this case, okay. So this means there are no real solutions, and you stop there, okay. Let's see our third example. Solve the quadratic function using quadratic formula. Here also it says explicitly use quadratic formula. We'll use this formula again. So before starting, as we said, we define our coefficients. A is equal to 5, b is equal to minus 5, c is equal to 5 over 4. Now first step is we calculate the discriminant delta. Delta is equal to b squared minus 4 multiplied by a and c. We are always here, okay. We start from here. So delta is equal to b. What is b? b is minus 5, so minus 5 squared. Then minus 4, we don't touch it. A is equal to 5, okay. C is equal to 5 over 4, 5 over 4. And this is equal to 0. If you calculate this expression, you will get minus 5 squared is 25, minus 4 multiplied by 5 is 20, 20 multiplied by 5 is 100, 100 if you divide it by 4 you get 5 is equal to 0, okay. That's why we get 0 here. So delta is equal to 0 and we have only one solution. We are in this case, delta is equal to 0. We use this formula, so we apply the quadratic formula. X is equal to minus, so minus, we don't touch it. B is minus 5, so this minus is from the formula and this minus 5 is from B, okay. So minus multiplied by minus 5 over 2 multiplied by a, 2 is from the formula, and a is 5, so 5. So we get 5 over 10, and this is equal to 1 over 2. Okay? So the root of our equation is x is equal to 1 over 2. Let's see our first example to solve quadratic function using factoring method. So here it says explicitly use factoring method. So what we need to do here is we always try to take a factor comma, okay? So we take a common factor x. We see that we have here x and here x, so we take as a factor comma x, okay? So basically this happens like that: x squared plus 2x. So what we need to do is we divide this part by x and this by x, so we get, this leads to 1x here, 1x is here, they go together, and here we had x squared, right? And 1x left, we still have 1x, here the x left, so we have only 2, plus 2 is equal to 0 divided by x, it is 0. Okay, so it is the same, x plus 2 is equal to 0. Why we have this x here? Because we don't want to change our equation. We need to solve it, not to change. Okay, if you multiply x by x, you get x squared, x by 2, you get 2x is equal to 0. Then you first say this first x is equal to 0, or this x plus 2 is equal to 0. So x plus 2 is equal to 0. You take just these two to the other side of 0. You take it here. Okay. So you get x is equal to minus 2. So as a conclusion, the root of our equation are x1 is equal to 0 and x2 is equal to minus 2. Let's see the second example. Again, explicitly it says use factoring method to solve the quadratic function. So when you have this type of equations, x squared minus 9 is equal to 0, we always use this method. We use the difference of square method. This method is a squared minus b squared when you have this type of equations. Actually, this is x squared, okay? X squared. Minus, we have minus 9 is 3 multiplied by 3, which is equal to 9, right? So we take 3 squared, okay? 3 multiplied by 3, it is the same as 3 squared. So we get b, so b is 3 squared, which is equal to, so you just take a is here, so we take x minus 3, and okay, so again we take here a is x plus b is 3. Okay, so we get the same one here. Okay, so this is the same. Okay, so then we say this first part is equal to 0. Okay, x minus 3 is equal to 0. This leads that we take 3 to the other side, minus 3 to the other side, we get 3. Or x plus 3 is equal to 0, this one here. Okay, so we take 3 to the other side, we get minus 3. So as a conclusion, the root of our equation are x1 is equal to 3, okay, and x2 is equal to minus 3. Okay, coming to the third and last example with the factoring method. Okay, so solve the quadratic function using factoring method. Our equation is x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So for such situation, we think in this way. For this type of equations, x plus or minus something multiplied by x plus or minus something is equal to 0. So we look for two numbers. When we multiply them, we get minus 3. So two numbers, when we multiply them we get minus 3, and when we add them we get 2. 2 is here. Okay, so two numbers, we get minus 3, which the number in this position, and two number, when we add them, the same two numbers, we get 2. Okay, so basically it is 3 and minus 1. For example, here we can try also. If we take 3 minus 1, we get 2. Okay, so this is our 2. Now 3 multiplied by minus 1, we get minus 3. This is our minus 3. Okay, so then we say this part is equal to 0, x plus 3 is equal to 0. We take 3 to the other side, you get minus 3. So our x1 is equal to minus 3, or x minus 1, this one here, is equal to 0. This leads that x is equal to 1. We just take 1 to the other side. Okay, so finally, as a conclusion, the root of our equation are x1 is equal to minus 3 and x2 is equal to 1. Okay, so in general, those equations, solving equations is very important. So practice with examples. Thank you for watching and hope to see you in the next video.